Let's talk about now. You know what I'm saying? Like just where
Well,
you at?
well, man, back in them days when I was going through that situation, um, just trying to find out different things, I also put myself in a situation, um, and it's I'm not gonna blame anyone. It's just something that I just wasn't educated on, and um, I really didn't know what I was doing. And I had people above me because they looked at me, as the main guy. If y'all look it up, it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation to talk about, but I'm okay talking with it. But I'm okay talking about it now because I'm not gonna let the situation have me holding my head down. And I did also, want to use this platform. There was a lot of guys that were involved in the whole little thing that we had going on, and I wanted to apologize to all those players, man, that got involved with that situation, and I just wanted to apologize to them and let them know it was never my intent to put anyone in a situation. It was something I was doing where I thought I was helping players, and I really felt like I didn't want to hide behind no curtains or hide behind no wall and just let it just slide by me without apologizing to all those players that was involved. Like I said, it was never my intentions to put anybody in any type of situation in that whole process. And right now, I do have to face time. I got 5 years prison, and it's my first time getting in any type of trouble in my life with the law. So it's been a different situation, but I just looked at, y'all heard my story and y'all seen all the situations that I came across that I overcame, and I just feel like I'm just taking that same attitude into this situation because I know who I am as a person, and I know how loyal I am to my people that are my friends. And I'm just gonna take this situation and I'm gonna learn from it. I'm gonna get smarter. And like I say, when you get into a bad situation, you learn it was a bad situation, and then from that moment, start making the steps to making it right. Like, don't waste any time. Like, and don't make the same mistake. Like, from that moment, you learn from that situation, and you start taking steps. And this is one of my steps to making this situation right.
Welcome to the Cypher, flow harder than the hands on Peter Piper. And now we would like to introduce you to your rivals. It's like Ali and Tyson, the hook miss with the liking. So nothing Mr. Bison, Maximus and Leonidas. You were in the booth with Titans, goons, goblins, and Vikings. It ain't really nothing like us.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, we back at y'all again with another episode of the L.I.T Code. I am Courtney Anderson. It's my boy.
And I'm Edgar Jones. We back at it again.
Yes, sir. Look, man, we want to thank y'all as always for watching, because we didn't have no audience. It'll just be me and old Edge talking like we usually do. So I think our last episode was with Miss Tasha Johnson Calhoun. Yep. Pretty good episode. Got some good views on it, some good feedback. We've been working on catching up our YouTube, so that's why y'all hadn't heard from us in a week or two. But we caught up now. We do have a guest on with us today. I'm gonna let Edgar do his thing and introduce him. But we back again. Thank y'all. We hope y'all enjoy. Mr. John.
Appreciate you, Conrad, for passing it off to me, partner. No, man, I'm excited about today, man. We got I ain't gonna call him a guest. I just call him family, man. Me and this dude been knowing each other since about 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2008, man. Was my training camp roommate. Probably made me laugh more than any teammate I done played with and got me probably through some of my toughest times doing training camp. And since that time from 2008 up until this moment, man, we've always been like brothers. You know what I'm saying? We may not talk all the time, but when we catch up, it seems like ain't no time being missed at all.
Oh,
and I think when you have people like that in your life, man, that tells a lot about y'all friendship. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce him. He got a lot of names that he goes by: Hammer, Swole. I usually call him Swole. But Robert McCune. Swole, what's going on, man?
Man, how you doing, man? Glad to have you. Appreciate you for having me on your podcast. It's my first time doing something like this, man. You know, I don't really be in the light like that.
Yeah. Hey, well, for the ones that probably can't see this, if you listen to the audio on Spotify or something, one thing I need y'all to know about my partner Swole, man, is that he gonna be clean as a Wilson now.
Military got me like that. And I'm gonna tell you something else got me like that. Man, going on them away trips, them game away trips. You remember when we used to travel? Man, I remember when I was a rookie, man, I had on like some little slats and a little polo shirt, but they were clowning me, but and people coming on there with furs, and man, you know how right now used to come on there. I was like, man, they fresh.
Yeah, they fresh.
Yeah,
hey, you know what though? You just brought back a memory with that, because that's how, you know, when we travel, for the ones that don't know, when we travel, you typically always use to travel out on a Friday.
Yep.
Now, the attire was some slacks with a button-up shirt. No, just business casual with a sport jacket if you chose. Some cats had a full 3-piece on, 4-piece suit on, I swear. But man, when I say it was a straight run down the runway show where you see cats get on that flag.
And that's where I get it from, for real. That's where I get from. That's where I get just always just, even when I travel, just say I'm in Atlanta and I travel to Fort Lauderdale, like, man, I get free. And you know, a girl, she be like, she throwing sweat. So I like, man, you know, when I travel, I put clothes on, man. Never know you gonna meet.
You never know you're gonna meet, man. You never know they're gonna meet. Hey, we done got into these cowboy boots, but that's a whole nother episode. Hey, I just got me some lizards too, man. So, but now we can get it to another time. Man, Swole, man, let's just start at the beginning, bro. You know, I know a lot about you. For the people that's listening, they may not know a lot about you at all, you know. So we always just really kind of start from, man, where you from? I think from people listening to you talk, they can tell you ain't from no East Coast. You ain't from no Jersey at all. But man, go ahead and let the people know where you from, man. You know, where you grew up at. Go ahead and let them know.
Okay. How y'all doing, everybody? I'm Robert McCune, from Mobile, Alabama. Grew up lower class. You know, some call it the hood, however which one. I grew up pretty rough, you know. Living situation was, you know, I can't speak on anybody else, but my living situation was, my mom had her own house. My dad had his own house, but my mom didn't drive. So she was always at my dad's house, and because my dad took her to work. So sometimes, you know, I have 3 sisters, 1 brother. 2 of my sisters are older. One of my brother's older, and I have 2 older sisters, and I have a younger sister. So, you know, me coming up, they was already like graduated and gone. And sometimes, you know, my mom being at my dad's house because she had to work and us having to go to school, it kind of left me and my little sister at home a lot of times by ourselves alone. So we didn't understand that as kids because, you know, we was kids. You know, when you kids, man, you just wanted to be around your mom and dad. So you know, my dad did lawn care service, and my mom, she worked inside the home like a maid. So when I say my dad took my mom to work, sometimes they would work at the same place. You know, my mom would be inside the house cleaning up while my dad was outside, you know, cutting the grass, and, you know, and my dad, my dad didn't really believe in, you know, giving us money. He believed in you work for your money. So, you know, if it's an ice cream truck outside and you see all the little kids running to get the ice cream, I would ask my dad for $1, and he wouldn't give me $1. He would tell me I can work and make $1. Now, you know, me as a kid, I really didn't understand that, but you know, so by me and my little sister being at home a lot by ourselves, the only way I could go over my dad's house was if I went to work. And at a young age of probably around 7 to 8 years old, that was my way to be around my mom and dad by staying at my dad's house and going to work and cutting grass.
Yeah, man. And that kind of brings me to my next question. So I was about to ask you, because, man, one thing I respected about you as soon as, because me and you play linebacker with each other.
Yep.
And we pretty much, you know, you came in, that was your first year. I was going into my second year. That was your first year with the Ravens, but you had been with a couple teams prior to. And that was my second year I was going in with the Ravens. But one thing I respected about you was your work ethic, man. Just, I knew, like, if I'm on the field with Swole, like, he coming in and come eat something up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
and then for the people that can't see you now, he cut up like coleslaw and shredded like lettuce. My dog, hey, natural. Hey, look him up. Robert McCune, he Jack, hey, Hammer, bro. Hammer fits the name, you know what I'm saying? But you know, your work ethic, man, the weight room, on the football field, even after we had them hard, long days, man, after them football practices doing training camp, bro, you'd be like, hey, Edgar, let's go and get some extra sprints in. We'll stay out there and go run. Yeah. Tired, bro. Tired. Oh, yeah. So that work ethic that you have, it seems like a lot of it came from your childhood. I mean, that was instilled in you.
Oh yeah, man. You know, as a young age, like I said, you know, I stayed at my dad's house. When you stayed at my dad's house, you know, my dad just had his ways about things. Either you was gonna go to work, or when he leave, he was gonna sit you out. You had to stay outside until he get back from work. So the best thing to do was to go to work. And, you know, my dad woke me up every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, 7, 8 years old. And he woke me up so early because, you know, I was a big Credible Hook fan, you know, the old Credible Hook with Lou Ferrigno. So, you know, my dad would wake me up at 5 o'clock every morning, and he'll say, "Old man, it's on." So I would get up, you know, watch my Credible, you know, I'll get up and put my little work clothes on, watch my Credible Hook. Credible Hook was on for an hour to 6 o'clock. After that, I would start putting the lawnmowers and everything, because my dad kept his lawn equipment inside the house, and I would, you know, load the trailer up with the lawnmowers and, you know, fix the ice water. You know, we had ice trays back then, so had about 50 ice trays in the freezer. And we always left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we went to work. Now, mind you, at this age too, I was also running track. I ran in this track program. So, you know, I went to work with my dad from like 7 till 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, we would stop working, and he would take me to track practice. And, man, I would go to track practice, man. I'm still filthy dirty. All the kids looking at me like, you know, what's going on? And my dad would drop me off at track practice with my bike, because, you know, I stayed about maybe 15 miles, about 15, 20 miles from where my dad dropped me off. So, you know, when my dad got out of work, he wasn't going to come back and get me. So after track practice, man, I would have to ride my bike home, man.
15 miles, bro?
Yeah, man, it was tough, homie. Like, and man, as soon as I got home, I would crash, because I had to get up the next day and get ready for work, man. And this was in the summertime, you know.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it just was the way things was, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew how my mom operated. I knew how my dad operated. And I just knew my dad wasn't going to do certain things. And, you know, man, with that money I made in the summertime, I bought my school clothes. I bought pen, paper, and pencil. And, you know, my dad would always say to me, like, don't it feel good to, like, buy your own things and not have to ask nobody? You know, I'm just saying, yeah, because I don't really understand what he mean. Like, you my mama, I mean, y'all my mama and daddy, y'all supposed to buy my stuff. Like, I supposed to save that money and be out there kicking. So so, you know, man, it was like that from 8 years old, 9 years old, all the way till maybe my junior year in high school.
Man, I thought you about to say 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. Like 15.
Yeah, man.
Bro, but
and you know my buddy, Slate. Slate ran, that's how me and Slate such good friends, because Slate ran in that track program with me. And man, I'll be getting ready to ride my bike home, and Slate mom would come to me and be like, Hammer, you want us to give you a ride home? And, you know, I'm like, yes, ma'am. You know, I'm dirt tired from cutting grass all day, running track. And, man, she would drop me off, and she used to say, you was going to ride that bike way over here? I'd be like, yeah, I ain't have no choice. This where I'm at, you know? And she was like, man, and, you know, man, it wasn't, I didn't have a bad attitude about it or anything, man. It just the way things was, you know. You know, the way we lived was just the way things was. And I didn't understand good living until that track program, man. You know, I ran on the track program with some kids that was well off. And, you know, we had a good relay team. So they parents would have a get together over their house for the relay team, because we won. And, man, you know, I would go over their house, man, and be like, wow, air conditioning. Wow, really hot water. Wow, they got cable. Wow, look, it's nice in here. You know, like, it was different, man. So, you know, we would stay over there on the weekend, and man, Sunday would come to take us back home, and on some real, like, I ain't want to leave. I loved it. For real. I wanted to spend the night over their house every night. So, you know, man, it just showed me a different way, and I made a name. I made a name for myself running track. And, you know, I just had some people around me through my journey that when I got off track just a little bit, they was there to just put me back on track by telling me some things. And when I say that, you know, through the course of that time from 8 years old all the way till my junior year, and even my junior year, you know, me growing up in the area that I grew up, you know, it was just some things, it was tough to dodge because of you just being in that atmosphere all the time. And, you know, sometimes by me having that background, and, you know, I see the different things that happen in, you know, our lower class and our lower class community. You know, sometimes, man, I get it, because, you know, man, you know, just being in the hood like that in those lower class neighborhoods, you know, sometimes we not exposed to things, man. And luckily, you know, I was blessed for somebody who lived better than I did, was to always, because, you know, sometimes when I ran in that track program, I wouldn't go to track practice because I'd be getting caught up in the neighborhood. But it would be this lady that would always come right through the neighborhood and find me all the time and be like, hey, get in this car, you got track practice. And I'm like, dang, boy, she just really came and got me, you know. And it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody like, damn, boy, who that lady is? She the police, you know what I'm saying? So it was small things like that, man, that helped me, you know, get to the next stage in life. And even my, and you know what I said earlier, you know, going into my junior year, my mom and dad, they drank, man, and it used to get pretty bad sometimes at night, to where I would be up at night just trying to keep things cool until I wouldn't go to school the next day. I'll just go to work with my dad and just make some money. And my mom and dad, they weren't tripping at this point in time if I went to school. So what's so crazy, man, you know what I said to y'all earlier, I got to my junior year, and I got into playing football. The end of my sophomore year. And I was just in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't going to school. I wasn't really doing nothing. And the same people house that I used to stay over as a kid, they came to my high school one day, and they knew my high school football coach, and they asked about him. And he's like, man, he ain't been coming to school, and you know, I don't know what's going on with him. You know, I was well-known athlete for track. And the guy he called me, and he was like, hey, man, like, why you haven't been going to school? And, you know, man, about this time, I was just kind of tired, you know, and I just told him the truth. You know, I had been going through so much just in the streets, just, you know, with my mom and dad. You know, it just wasn't functional living. I was kind of in between my track and streets. And I just told him like what was going on with my mom and dad, the drinking. And, you know, he told me, he said, hey, if this happens again, call me. And I don't really know these people, you know. I don't really know these people. So, man, it happened again. It got really bad. I called them, and they came and picked me up, and things kind of changed from there, man. That was a blessing in disguise, and I didn't even realize it. I just wanted to get out of a bad situation. And, you know, they bought me clothes. They bought me pencils and paper, which I wasn't used to because my dad made me work. You know, my dad made me work for all this stuff. So I'm like, you know, when they bought me this, I'm like, I don't have to pay y'all. And you're like, what? Pay us? So I'm like, man, you a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I got myself together, man. And I got myself together, and I got into football. We didn't have the best football team. And I started out as a running back because I was fast. And one game we had this running back, man, he was huge and just running through us. And, you know, I wanted to win, like I'm a winner. And I asked my coach put me in that linebacker. And he just threw me in there, man. And they gave that guy that ball. And, man, I just went in and laid a lick down that it was, like, amazing. And I was like, wow, you can get mad like this and, you know, go just really hit somebody. And ever since then, man, I wanted to play linebacker. That was the end of my junior year. And you know, my coach, man, he always believed in me, so he took me to different camps like University of Alabama, University of Auburn, and, you know, just to go there and see that. And I was really into football now because I was like, man, I might can, you know, go to college, you know, playing this. So my junior year I had a good year, but I graduated and didn't really happen because we didn't have a good football team. So I really didn't know what to do at this point, man. You know, the small schools wanted me, and, you know, nothing against a small school like Alabama State, the Alabama A&M, University of Southern, like, you know, nothing against them schools, but I just had this dream in my head of just going to a big school. I just felt like me going to a big school, you know, I can really, like, get on the stage I want to get on. But at that point in time, I wasn't really thinking about no NFL. I just wanted to get out the neighborhood because I found out, like, I can go to college playing football. So, you know, that didn't work out, and I really didn't know what to do. And one of my
you talking about your senior year?
My senior year. Yeah, my senior year, you know, I got some partial scholarships to Southern University and Alabama A&M. They was a little partial scholarship, but I wanted to go to a big school. So one of my older sisters was in the Army, and you know, she was like, "Why don't you go to the Army? They'll pay for your college." I was like, "Damn, that might be the best option for me to do right now. I got to get up out the neighborhood, because if I stay in the neighborhood, I just might become a statistic, you know." So, man, I ended up joining the Army. I joined the Army, and my goal was, when I went into the Army, just to be a good soldier, and get the college money. So while I was in the Army, I went to basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And it was different, you know. That was really my first time being like far away from home. It was different. I was, you know, you talk that tough talk, but you know, when you get put in an environment that you never been in before, and you got these people hollering and screaming at you, and they want you to move everywhere quickly, it was kind of overwhelming for me. And it was some nights, man. I laid in my bed at night, and you know, I didn't boo-hoo cry, but tears came out, because you know, I wasn't getting no letters. You know, it was big. You know, it was big, man, being in basic training and getting a letter from your family. So, you know, I didn't get no letters from my family. I kind of had to. What really made me grow up is, you know, I went through all that hard stuff in basic, and it was tough. And during the graduation, none of my family came, man. And I think I was so hurt and so sad about that. I didn't cry anything, but I just told myself, like, man, you might be in this journey all by yourself, you know. God always first, but, you know, as far as just like family, and, you know, that's all I knew. You know, I knew my friends from the hood weren't going to be able to make it, because they ain't had nothing. But when they didn't come, it just, I grew up that was a stage in my life where I grew up, man, and just was like, you gonna have to get this you gonna have to get this on your own, like 2 feet in your mind, you know. It might not be a support system there. So, you know, I went through the military. I did 4 years in the Army. I served in Afghanistan. I served in Kuwait. I served in South Korea. I served all over the United States. And my job in the military, I was a petroleum specialist. So if you ever on a plane and you look out the window and you see the guys putting gas in the airplane, I did that in the military. I filled up tanks, Humvees, helicopters. I was really the gas man of the Army. So that's really what I was. And, you know, it was a tough job, because it required us to, we had to travel with the tank sometimes. So some days we'll be in the woods, 30, 40 days, you know. When they went to train in the desert, we had to go with them because they needed fuel. So that was my job in the military. But, you know, I always kept my goal in front of me. And, you know, when I first initially went to the Army, it was to get the college money and go play college football. So one thing that I always said I was going to do was keep myself in great shape while I was in the Army, because, you know, that was the game plan, to get the college money, and we was going to walk on to a university somewhere. And while I was in the Army and I did my traveling, every state I was in, I kept myself in top-notch shape. We worked out every morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, we ran 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 miles. We did all kind of push-ups, all kind of sit-ups. We did, you know, the military kept me in great shape. But after we would have our workout, you know, you go eat breakfast, your chow, and you come back and you shower, and then you go to work and you do your job. And after I got off work, I would go to the gym and work out. And I did, you know, I stayed on my goal I stayed on my path, you know, even when I went to the desert. I took my homie boots and everybody boots and put them in my rucksack and did curls and squats. And I ran in that sand, you know, with my rucksack on. We would do road marches. We would have to do certain road marches to pass a PT test. And it was a road march I think we had to do for about 30, 40 miles, and they gave us a certain time to do it. So, you know, me, and we had to carry all our gear, you know, carry that rifle, your Kevlar, your vest, and I would put extra weight in my rucksack, man, and just to get that extra work in, because my game plan was to, like I say, walk on to some university. So I did my time in the military. Didn't get in any trouble. I was a great soldier. They wanted me to stay in, but like I said, I had my goals in front of me. So it was close. If it was close, if you got anything you want to ask me, man, in between, my story is just it's
you
a
just
story.
said a lot. You just said a lot.
It's a story, man. It's a story to my work ethic and my morals and the things that I have done, man, to get to where I am in life and still learning life, you know what I'm saying? So
I'll get back to the question about, that transition from the military into college. Because we know, right, you end up hitting that goal, but I know because you said a lot that Courtney probably got something you want to ask you.
Okay.
Yeah. So just basically me listening to the story. First and foremost, Edgar, y'all story, it ain't, I don't believe in stuff happening by chance, right? I think y'all got along so well because all our stories are sort of similar as far as having to work at young ages. Edgar used to ride his bike from his mama's house to my dad's house. I grew up on like 42 acres on a horse farm, basically. So we would have to toss hay bales all summer. We would have to drive T-posts, putting up barbed wire fences, breaking horses, all this kind of stuff, which is, people always say it's a belt line for your top-notch football players, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, down south. Everybody, damn near everybody that's young, you grow up in our neighborhoods, you're going to work starting early. I think that's the difference between us and a lot of city boys. Like, you get grown man strength early because you know what I'm saying? You carrying these 5-gallon buckets full of water back and forth, feeding horses or doing whatever you was doing, the lawn service thing. Edgar dad worked with cement, but Edgar would ride that bike out there. It was his the summer before his senior. He ride that bike about a 6-mile ride.
Yeah, it wasn't no 15, 20 miles.
Yeah, it went 15, 20, not one way, but he ride it to my dad's house. We be playing basketball. He'll go out there, he'll flip this tractor tire and rim down our biggest pass, back and forth. Then he might pick up a little pickup game with us, and he ride his bike home, shower, ride his bike to work, get off work, ride his bike to the field house, work out at night, you know what I'm saying, and ride his bike back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting. It's interesting you had this story and y'all linked up the way y'all did. But everything that I heard you say, man, it seems like all the adversity was leading you up to your next phase. So you having to ride that bike that much and you having to be up that early to go work with your dad and stuff led you into the military where it was the same stuff, same thing you was gonna have to do, right? So it was leading you to that. Your dad also showed you that ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. So now it ain't no victim in you expecting nobody to give you nothing. The people who did come into your life and do for you, there was a luxury, but it ain't something that's gonna happen every day, right?
Oh yeah.
Then you got into the military, you still out working everybody. You putting extra stuff in your sack. You doing this and doing that, you know what I'm saying? Adversity built you. Every step you grew from it. I did a little research and saw that you won 2 state titles in powerlifting in high school. That's from getting up in the morning toting the push moles to the back of that trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I was in high school, man, I was benching about 350 in high school, man.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? If we able to do it, this is why I get angry with our people sometimes. We come from stuff like that, right? And then I work in the oil and gas industry, so people ask me, man, what I need to do to get this certification to come do whatever, and I tell them, you know, what the test costs, and they'll say, man, I don't test well, and I'm like, man, you from where you from, man? I know what they mean. Like, became all this, and now a test, like something as simple as a test, or I got to talk in front of somebody that's gonna stop you when you you know, some of them didn't know who their daddy was and their grandma raised them, and she might have been addicted to crack or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? You made it through all that, and then you let a test stop. So it's just I just want to tell you kudos for using that verse for what it was. It seems like every level of your life was preparing you for the next, right? Benefit of hindsight, and if you're aware of that, then anything you got to face in the future, you already know. If adversity there, that means growth there. So if I came out better every time, no matter what I'm going into next, I'm gonna come out bigger and better, because that's what you've been doing your whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I want our viewers to understand that, like, don't cower down. Use it. You know what I'm saying? Use it.
Most definitely. You know, I have a motto. I have a motto now, man. You know, don't look at a bad situation as a bad situation. You look at a bad situation as a learning situation. And you know, my whole thing with a bad situation is learn from it quick. Cause you know, you keep finding yourself in these situations and you keep doing the same thing, then it's your fault. You know, we have to be, when we run into a bad situation, and all us gonna run into a bad situation, we have to take that situation, you know, this is what I think, and just, you have to learn from it real quick, and you have to start building from it right then and there. Like, you can't sit around and mope about it and be like, damn, and all that. You got to take that situation and just like, oh man, I can't do that again. And right from there, it should teach you something, because you understand it's a bad situation. So it should teach you something. And right then from there, I'm not saying jump 20 feet, but start making little jumps to just like, I'm never going to put myself in that situation again. And I'm going to educate myself. You know what I'm saying? It's all about knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, me and my Army days, my college days, my NFL days, you know, I've always heard knowledge is power. And, you know, you hear things, and, you know, sometimes if you're not in a situation, it can skip right past you because it's not your situation. But when you find yourself in situations and you trying to make the steps to get better, man, there's so many little quotes and little sayings that come to you that you be like, damn, that's why they say that, like, that's why they say, like, knowledge is power. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, and it's some more things, you know, as we continue to talk, man, that has taught me, just because I've been in that situation. I know me and Edgar probably can understand this, us playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, we playing ball, man. Like, honestly, when we had them little meetings and people came in and talked to us, bro, all I was thinking about was, man, I hope I got to learn to play so I can stay on the team. And I ain't listening to that person on the stage. Like, I'm thinking about keeping my job. I just seen 2 people get cut from making a mistake.
For real, bro.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, man.
Pressure.
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, we talk about steps, right? So just taking smaller steps. Man, let's talk about that step that you took, transition from the Army going to Louisville.
Yeah.
Because I know, you know, you did it. You did 4 years in the Army.
Yeah.
Then you went into Louisville. You know, and then you walked on. You got a scholarship or what?
I walked on, man. I walked on Louisville, just a regular Joe. What I really literally mean, just a Joe. I was
now talk about them Joes that we talked about that walk.
Oh yeah, we go get that. But you know, back to the end of my I was getting ready to get out the military. I had like 6 months left. This was in year 2000. So honestly, man, what I did, you know, back then, cell phone was, I think, just was coming out. It wasn't no internet, wasn't none of that. So, man, I grabbed the phone book and I went to the University of Alabama. I looked up University of Alabama, and you know, in the phone book, they had the admissions department. They had it like sectioned off, and man, I just looked up sports facility football, and I called University of Alabama and told them about myself, and they was like, "Oh yeah, we good, man. We good on the walk on." I respect that. I called University of Alabama, went through the phone. I mean, University of Auburn, excuse me, and I called University of Auburn. They didn't seem too interested. I called University of South Carolina. They didn't seem too interested. So, like I told you,
that's rejection 3 times, right? That's rejected.
Yeah,
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Like I told you, man, through my path in life, I had people in my path that, man, like honestly, I honestly believe like they was my like guardian angel. So the people that took me in, these people that took me in, these the same people I went over their house as a kid on the relay team. So those people that took me in, I called them and they was asking me how everything I was doing. I was like, I'm getting ready to get out the Army, and I was trying to go to college. Now they had 3 sons. One of them was maybe 3 years younger than me. So he, the dad was like, yeah, man, Tiger, he just got a scholarship to the University of Louisville. So I'm, as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna call Louisville now. So I looked up Louisville the next day. I called University of Louisville and I told them, they answered the phone. I asked, could I speak to the linebacker coach? And we jumped on the phone and he's like, yeah, man. I told him my name, Robert McCune. And I said, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. He was like, man, we just recruited a kid from Mobile, Alabama. Tiger Jones. I said, Andrew Jones. I said, yes, sir, that's my cousin. I don't really, he wasn't my cousin, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, okay. He was like, where are you at now? I said, I'm in the Army, sir. He was like, you a linebacker? I was like, yes, sir. And he said, how big are you? I said, I'm about 225. He said, you ever ran the 40? And I had been training running the 40 when I was in the Army. I was running like 429, 428. So I told him,
you running like, 429s in the 40, bro? Back
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, when I was in the Army, homie, I bought those jump soles. You remember the jump soles?
The jump soles, the shoe you walk around on?
Yeah, dog. I bought them in the Army. So when I was in the Army,
I had a strength shoe, bro.
Yeah, man. I bought me some strength shoes when I was in the Army, and they really did make me jump higher, homie. Yeah. I don't know if it was mental. So he asked me how big I was, and I told him 225, and he said, what you run in the 40? I said, I run like a 429, 428. And he was like, you 225 and you run? I was like, yes, sir. He said, can you come up here? I said, yes, sir. Let me ask my sergeant. And I asked my sergeant, and my whole military unit, man, I did everything in the Army. I power lift, I bodybuild, I ran track, I did flag football. So, I was like the athlete of our unit. So my sergeant was like, yeah, man, go ahead, take you 4 days and go up there. So I had a little red Grand Dam at the time, and I drove to Louisville from Savannah, Georgia. It was about a 9-hour drive, and I went up there. They showed me around the campus and took me to the locker room. And, man, they gave me a Louisville shirt, some shorts, and some shoes. So, I'm sitting in the locker room. I'm so happy. I'm like, oh, man, I got that gear on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, man, I'm pretty happy. And, man, I went into the football weight room. They had a 60-yard track in there. They put me on the scale. I was 225.
What they say when they saw you, Swole? When they saw
oh man, they was ecstatic, man. They was like, dang, man, look at this kid. They was like, look at this kid, you know what I'm saying? And got on the scale, and they put me on the little track, man. All the coaches was down there with they stopwatches, man. And I did a couple jumps and bounced around a couple times, and man, I ran the 40, and my linebacker coach, he had me at 431, but I heard another coach say, hey, I got 429. So I was like, y'all want me to run it again, coach? They was like, man, you good. They was like, when you get out the Army? They started asking me when I get out the Army. So I told them if I get accepted in college, the Army would let me out early in time for school. So, in high school, I had all the requirements to go to college. So, man, they got me accepted, and I took that letter back. I took that letter back to the Army, and they let me out about 2 months early. Sure did.
Bro, I don't doubt that 4.3 and that 4.2. Cause here's why, and I ain't know that. As much as you talk, I ain't know you ran.
Yeah.
You probably told me that, man. I mean, you talk about so much, man. But I knew this though, from watching us on kickoff. You know that little side camera that those two views they give you out for watching your kickoff and punt. You was like all the linebackers I done played with. You damn sure to be up to the top 3 fast linebackers I've seen.
Yeah,
they
man.
Get out there and open up. I'm talking about Hellcat out. Get out of there. So yeah.
I got a question before you keep on. Do you believe in the law of attraction?
The law of attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I believe in the law of attraction.
Basically,
you can break it down for me. Let me hear
what you focus on, right? If you decided you like football when you were your junior year, right? You focused on making it your goal, right? And as you focus on it, that means the energy you put out there focusing on it to the universe, everything that you need to be drawn to you to make that happen, right? So the people that you called your guardian angels, right, were drawn unto you because you were in pursuit of your goal. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You deciding, hey man, I wanna go to college. You kept that in the forefront. Everything you was doing was working towards that, even when you were in the Army, right? And then you make this call, right? Then out of nowhere, these people tell you, well, Tiger just got accepted to Louisville on a scholarship. You make that call. And from you making that simple call, because everybody think it take all this extraordinary stuff to happen for us to get what we're looking for. But you made that simple call. They asked about you, asked you what you could do. Can you be there? I don't know. Let me ask my sergeant. Now, you had been doing all this other stuff in the Army. If you wouldn't have, you'd have been sitting out, not running, not doing all this other stuff. Your sergeant would have been like, man, what you talking about? You going to try to play college football. But since you were, you was already attracting him to say, yeah, man, go do what you got to do. Then from there, they say, well, when you getting out? Well, they'll let me out early if I get accepted. By that time, they like accepted. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make this happen. Because you made it happen by focusing on it. Basically, you focused on it. You worked towards it. The Bible says a man's gift will make room for him, right?
Yeah.
It's African proverbs that talk about a hunter with one arrow doesn't aim carelessly. It don't matter what religion, what you believe in. If a man focuses on something, whether good or bad, and he works towards it, what he needs gonna come to him to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
Your story, you basically telling us how you willed it to happen. You found out when they didn't come see you for your graduation that it was gonna be on you. But really and rarely, it's always on us. We the only ones. You know what I'm saying? I always say it. If you close your eyes right now, me and the other screen ain't gonna go dark. Yours will, but ours won't, because it's just you and your word, right? Yeah. And you really attracted like everything you needed, bro. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes it's harder to see, but in your story, it's even that later, right? They used to ride around and come pick you up. Like, she saw something in you that you couldn't see back then. You see what I'm saying? And when you destined for it and you decide to move on it, right? Everything we need, it's gonna come to us. You know what I'm saying? Me and Edgar decided to make this podcast a year ago. When we did that, right, we started working towards recording it. Whatever energy we had out there was pulling us to this moment right here. Our boy Rob, you the first cat outside of Edgar that's been in the league that we done had on here. Everything was pulling it that way though. You see what I'm saying? By us putting it out there and being faithful towards it. You the same way, man. And it's just it's crazy how you explaining it. You know what I'm saying? Listening to it sound like something off a movie. But all our life is a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's just
man.
It's an interesting story.
Man, I just felt like man, I'm just at a point in my life now, man, where, I just, I've been had my head down, just grinding, just trying to make a difference. And it's just something that just been in me that just saying, hey, man, you got a story to tell. You need to tell your story, because I never been on social media. I never did none of that stuff, man. I just been, I don't look for the light. I'm a worker ant. So you know what I'm saying? So it just now, man, I'm just I'm interested in getting on the platform, and I'm interested in just telling my story, and just letting people know who Robert McCune is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's go back to Louisville, man. How was that? And then let's talk about, and then even out what happened after that, but probably
But okay, I get to Louisville. I get enrolled in school, I get in the dorms, I get my classes. For the first 2 weeks, man, everything was cool, man. Like I was so happy to be there, because, I didn't have to wake up early anymore, but I still found myself waking up early. But, after being there a couple of weeks, one day I was in class, and the lady was, the professor, instructor, whatever you want to call it, was calling roll, and she didn't call my name. And she said, who name I didn't call? So, I raised my hand, and we walked outside, and she was like, hey, you got to get your financial aid straight. You can't come to class. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, ma'am. So at this point, I'm still the same dude from the neighborhood. I have no clue on what financial aid is. So I went to the financial aid office, and they were just showing me, because, I was like, the military paid for my school. So, and it said 100% tuition. So I went to the financial aid office, and they broke it down to me. And I was like, I thought the military, and they told me that the military only pays in-state. I was considered an out-of-state student. So the military only paid like 15, I think it was either 1,500 or $2,000. But the out-of-state was like $8,000. And then I still had books, the dorm, meal card. So I had a lot of money that I owed, man. And I gave financial aid every nickel I had. I didn't even have any money to eat any food. So I ended up also getting kicked out the dorm. So now I'm in this guy room. I was still in the military while I was at Louisville, because I had to do 4 years active duty, and I had to do 4 years in the National Guard. So while I was at Louisville, I had school, I had football, and I also still had my duties in the military. So, I went to the National Guard unit, and, asked them, could they do anything? And they was just like, we can't do anything. We only pay what we pay. So, I knew the coaches told me when I ran the 40, they was like, hey, we can't give you a scholarship because we gave all the scholarships away. And I told them, like I said, that's okay. The military paid my tuition. So when I got kicked out the dorm, I was in the dude room laying on the floor. I had my sleeping bag from the Army. And it was tough, man, because I felt left out, I was a part of something, but I couldn't do what everybody else was doing. I tried to go back in class, and the teacher told me, like, hey, you cannot come back here. Like, I was just, hoping a miracle happened. And so, and then, the dude room I was staying in, when he had a girl come over, man, I had to I had to go outside on the little bench and just kind of sit outside. I didn't even have no gas to drive my car. And, man, I used to sit outside some nights, and I would just be sitting there, man. I'd be like, damn, man, like, I can't stay. The only thing I was doing was going to football practice. Now, they didn't really know, because I was a walk-on. Like, man, when you a walk-on, how them walk-ons. They're like, man, ain't nobody paying no attention to them walk-on. They they be having like, you seen how Rudy would dress, had that big helmet, them big pants, them big shoulder pads. Like, bro, why they give you that? Why they do the walk-ons like that, man? So, man, I would sit in the room. I would sit in the room all day, man. And when it was time to go to practice, I would go to practice. I did that for like 2-3 weeks, man. And then I was doing good football, but I just told myself, I said, you know what, man? I'm gonna have to just go back home. I said, I'm gonna go talk to the head coach and I'm gonna let them know what's going on, and I'm gonna just go back home and try to I didn't want to go back to the Army. So, man, I went to the head coach and told him about my situation. And he was like, I thought the military, and I broke that down to him. And he was like, man, we really like you, man. He was like, he said, stick around and let me go figure out something I can do. So, I stuck around and I was in the guy room, and they got scholarship check. And also on campus, man, they had a place like Golden Corral where for the football players, where you can go over there, just eat, take to-go plate. So the dude room I was staying in, he used to always bring me a to-go plate because I had no money. Like, yeah. I gave every cent I had trying to pay that financial aid down. And, man, I would thank him so much, man. I would smash that food, man. I down there ate the styrofoam plate, man. I was so hungry, man. And I tried to, like, sneak in there, but they got a person as soon as you walk in the door to get your name, and if you ain't on scholarship, they would not let you in there. So I went to the coach, and I had the scholarship guys got a check. So, he came in the room. He's like, man, you on scholarship? I was like, I don't know. He like, man, this check right here, they're like a scholarship check. So I walked up to the football complex and wait to see my coach because his secretary always have to let you in. And, he was like, what's going on? And I was like, hey, coach, I got this check. I didn't understand. And, he said, come here. And, man, he put me in the headlock and he said, hey, you on full scholarship.
Hey.
You on full scholarship. And now, mind you, man, like, I never hated on the scholarship guy, but being in the struggle that I was in, and I see them going to class and going to practice and everything was so cool for them, I used to say, dang, man, all they got to do is just go to school and play football. So, when coach told me, hey, don't let me down, we put you on full scholarship. All I said at that point was, I say, man, all I got to do is just go to school and play football. And that's exactly what I did. I made it so simple. I did everything I was asked to do, and I was always on time. And that's the motto that I had when I went to the Army. I said, just be on time, man, and just do what you told to do. So when I got to Louisville, I knew how, me doing that got me in the military. So when I got to Louisville, I just said, and they put me on scholarship, I said, just do what they tell you to do. And I said, just be on time. And I lived by that, and I did everything they asked me to do, man. And I ended up taking a guy position. My first year, I got special team player of the year.
You want the mic or Will?
I was always at the mic. And that year I got special team player of the year. That was a year where they just put me in for short yardage. If it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, like they put me in there because they know I'm coming. If I was just like Happy Gilmore, whoever got the football, I just ran 1,000 miles per hour and just hit it. So at the end of that year, man, I got my first start against University of Houston. My first start, man, I had like about 21, 22 tackles. And after that, they kept me at the mic. Yep.
Man. Dude,
your senior year was the year you finally rolled it into your all-conference, first team all-conference year, right?
My junior year, I got special team. I got defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. And I made first team out conference my junior year. Yep.
Okay.
I made it both. I made it both my junior and my senior year. Okay. Sure did.
Yeah. It's another thing you and Edgar got in common. him having this breakout year his senior year. And then I also saw where you made a good impression in your senior bowl by knocking a couple heads around. You know what I'm saying? That's what got the NFL scouts' eyes on you. Edgar did the same in his All-Star game his senior year. You know what I'm saying? My dad and I went down, and he showed out. It got on the radar. So again, I don't think nothing happened by chance. I think y'all cats connected for a reason, man, because y'all stories a lot alike in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? It's different, but y'all got some similarities though.
Yeah, man. And some more adversity that I went through at Louisville. You know, once I did secure the starting job, man, you know, 9/11 happened, and my unit got called. And at first, man, and like I say, man, you go back to that circle of people that was in my life. When my unit got called to go, you know, I was just like, man, the military, they ain't even helped me when I needed help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, Louisville helped me, so I'm riding with Louisville. But then my sister called me, who told me to go in the Army, and we was talking about it. You know, she was like, hey, you can't do that. Like, you can go to, you know, you can get time for that, you know, going AWOL. So, you know, I went and talked to my coach about it. He was like, yeah, man, I understand. He was like, I'm sorry to hear this for you. He was like, your scholarship will be here when you get back. And, you know, I was like, man, I'm going to be like down there 30 years old, you know, but I went over there, man. You know, I went over there, and I didn't have the best attitude, but I did what I had to do. And one morning, we was in formation, and a lieutenant colonel, man, was calling roll, and he called my name. You know, at the time I was a corporal. He was like Corporal McCune, and you know, he kind of paused, and I was like, damn, I hope he ain't tripping, because I've been walking around with a bad attitude. So, you know, he broke the formation up, and he came up to me, and he was like, hey man, he didn't say, hey man, he was like, hey soldier, he's like, you Robert McCune? And I was like, yes, sir. He was like, what you doing over here? And I was like, my unit got called, sir. And he was like, nah, man. He was like, man, I seen you play, man. He was like, you know, he was like, go sit in my office. And that was about 7 a.m. And I sat in his office from 7 a.m. till about 7 at night. And I slept. I thought I was in some type of trouble. And man, he came in out with some papers in his hand, and it was some flights. And he said, hey man, get out of here. He was like, I seen you playing. He was like, us people over here, he was like, we gonna be in the military the rest of our life. He was like, you got a chance to do something some of us will probably never do. And he let me go, man. And I flew back to Louisville, and I turned a button up that was already turned up even more. Like I said, I'm finna go hard. I'm finna graduate. And still at this point in time, I was not thinking about going to the NFL.
You weren't thinking about it at all?
I wasn't thinking about that at all. You got to think where I came from. Like, I just wanted to go to college and get this whole college degree thing. I just felt like exactly what your buddy just said. If I went to college, played college football, and got a degree, everybody in the hood was gonna think I was that guy. Just like your homie just said. So came back, man, and went even harder. And they was talking about going pro my junior year, but I just had on my mind, like, I always wanted to graduate before I went that route.
That's crazy, bro, because, man, I ain't started thinking about the pros until my senior year.
Yeah.
And Coach Tony Samuel, who coached at Nebraska back in the day, shout out to Coach Sams, man. He called me in his office when he first got the job at Southeast. And when he called me into the office a couple weeks before that, we had just got into a couple cats on the team got into a big fight at the sorority house. Mm-hmm. And a couple cats got kicked off the team. So, and I was actually involved in that fight. So he called me over, and man, I thought I was finna get kicked off the team.
Yeah.
But he looked me in my eye and he was like, if you just listen to me, stay out of trouble, I think I can get you to the next level. And as soon as he said that, bro, I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
And so man, so I didn't think about it till my senior year really started to hit me, man. So what did that look like when you go back, you ball out your senior, you graduate?
Yep, I did graduate. Yep.
You graduate and then you end up getting an agent. Like you went to
Yep.
what happened with that next phase?
Man, it was like after I played in the bowl game my senior year, soon as I finished my bowl game, I signed with my agent. Soon as I signed with my agent, we went out to eat, and I drove from Memphis to Atlanta and started training the next day.
You trained in the A?
I trained in Atlanta. In the A. That's when I first got introduced to Atlanta.
Forever since it's
been. And what's so crazy, what made me come to Atlanta, I used to talk to a girl in the military, and she went to Georgia Southern, and I was stationed like 30 minutes from her at Fort Stewart, Georgia, and we got pretty tight, and she ended up leaving her college and came to college with me. So, me not having much family at all, I stuck to this girl like glue. I ain't know nobody at Louisville, but me going through my path, she went, all this light started coming on me that she wasn't used to. And she was from Atlanta. She's from Atlanta. So long story short, going into she was a little ahead of me in college. So when she graduated, she went back to Atlanta, and I had one more year. So during all that time, man, all this lights was shining on me. And, she was just like, man, you gonna go to the NFL? I wasn't even think about the NFL. She was like, you gonna go to the NFL, leave me? So she like broke up with me. So I said, bro, when I get back to Atlanta and she see I'm getting ready for the leave, she gonna goddamn love a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was like, she gonna love me. So, bro, my agent, he was like, you could train in Texas, you could train in California. He said Atlanta. I said, I want to train in Atlanta. That's what took me to Atlanta. And that's great. That's what brought me to Atlanta, because I was trying to get close to her to make our relationship work, man. Because that was all, what I'm saying? That was all I knew, bit, bro. Like, I'm going through this all this by myself, you know what I'm saying? No family, like, so yeah, man, that's what brought me to Atlanta, man. For real. And I got to Atlanta, man, and it was like I was running behind her, man. She didn't want to deal with me, man. So I just let it go and started catching up with Rick and them. And
oh man, Rick
was in Atlanta.
Rick them, boy.
Yeah, Rick them been doing it a long time, man.
Hey, boy, hey, that A, man, I came to A a couple times.
I know.
Hey, so you draft day. You know what I'm saying? What that tell for the ones that don't know, like what happened, what ended up happening. You got your agent, you train in the A. We get up to April, the draft getting ready to come up.
Well, man, it was a process. When I got up there and started training, since I got invited to the Senior Bowl, they was initially training me for the Senior Bowl. So they trained me for the Senior Bowl maybe like 2-3 weeks. I went to play the Senior Bowl. After I played the Senior Bowl, and also the Senior Bowl was in my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. So that was like huge for me, man. Like, I think I was still that little kid, man, when nobody came to my graduation basic training, man. When my family, this time my family showed up, and man, I was like a little kid in the candy store, and it was a good moment. And after I trained the Senior Bowl, I came back to Atlanta. Then they started training me for the combine.
Yeah.
So I trained for the combine. I went and did the combine. And after the combine, it was like, that was like April. I think I went back and trained for maybe a couple weeks. And then I had this trainer at home that I grew up with that trained me through high school. And he was a beast, man. Like, he really introduced me to having like great footwork and, having control with your body. And this when I was in maybe I met this guy when I was in the 10th grade, and he just believed in being able to run. So when I finished with those little couple weeks training, it was what happened was draft day came up. After the Senior Bowl, I came back and trained for a little bit. Then the draft came after the combine. So after the combine, I went home, and you know, man, all this stuff was new to me, and you know, it was so much stuff coming by me, second round, third round. Then you know, they had, you know, I was older. You know, I was 26, 27 years old when I got drafted because, you know, I was in the military first. So, you know, the first day went by and I didn't get drafted. So I was just like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna even get caught up in this stuff. And the girl I told you about that I talked to at Georgia Southern, she was a professor at Florida State. So, you know, I just really wanted to get away from it. And so, you know, I drove to Tallahassee, which was about 2.5 hours from Mobile. And I just went up there the second day of the draft. I really didn't want to be home, like around family. It was just, they were acting crazy. So, man, I went and we were just chilling. And my phone rang and it was Coach Gibbs. Coach Gibbs from the Washington Redskins. He was like, man, Robert, you know, we thought you was going to be gone. We was going to get you in the third. I was like, man, y'all should have got me in the third. but he was like, we seen your name still below up. So he was like, you won't be a Redskin? So I said, yes, sir. And I was in Tallahassee, man. I jumped up. And, you know, the girl, she was like, go, 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 just go, go. And I went home and my linebacker coach called me. He was like, hey, you come up here prepare. I was like, damn, he sound like he mean. Like, oh, man, you know. So I went back home, you know, man, kind of hung out with my family for a little bit. And I just got the training. Like, I got the training with my trainer that I grew up with and got ready for training camp.
And you went to D.C. out the gate.
Out the gate, drafted to the Redskins. Sure was.
And how long you was with the Redskins for?
I was with the Redskins 2 years.
And then after that 2 years, kind of off and on, special teams starting. Like what that look like?
I was just bounced around, man. You know, sometimes special team, sometimes practice squad. Sometimes I was active about 4, 5, 6, 7 games straight. It was just, man, I learned so the NFL, man, it was crazy, man, because, you know, I would ball out like on special teams, like get special team player of the week, you know, for the Redskins. Then it's all of a sudden, you know, it's just like, hey, you gonna be on press squad this week. I'm like, huh? I'm like, shit, you know, like what I do? Why? I'm like, what happened? Like, you know, I'm making like $20,000, $30,000 a month now. And you know, making, you know what you made on practice squad, like maybe $7-8 grand a week. Like, that's still good money, but why y'all taking 20, 30? Like, what I need, you know, and they'll be like, offensive line got hurt. So they pull a guy off the offensive line on the practice squad because, you know, he know the system. So they bring him up. They still got this dude. You know how it works. You know how that numbers game works. So when somebody come out the practice squad, somebody got to go on the practice squad. And, you know, I was always sometimes that guy, man. And I didn't understand that, you know what I'm saying? So, and it was, I came when I was on the practice squad, I came in one day and, you know, my agent had called me just before I walked in the building and was like, hey, you might be going to the Dolphins. So I was like, huh? What you talking? You know, I walked on in the building and, man, as soon as I walked in the building, they was like, hey, you need to talk to your agent. And I called my agent. He was like, hey, man, we talked about it. You know, them bullshit you with you being on practice squad, the Dolphins want you. He was like, they gonna bring you in right away on the active roster. And I was like, okay, you know, this new to me, you know what I'm saying, man? I'm still there. I'm still the dude in the Army for real.
And you got to be there right now. Like,
yeah,
you ain't got no
like,
time. You got to be in Miami right now.
They gave me a little grace period. I had to be there the next day. So, you know, I had my apartment, I had my car, I had all my clothes in DC, and I had to get up and like dip to go to Miami. So,
but you think about it, bro. That ain't even no grace period.
It's really not. It's really not. It's really not. But I know how you said some people have to take off that same day.
Yeah.
But you know, that next day, and man, you know, I took off the next day and got down there, and you know, they put me in the hotel. So, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I thought I was gonna be out in the light live, but they, you know, the little personnel guy, he was like, hey man, they gonna put you in the hotel for about 4-5 days, and then you gotta find you somewhere to stay. I was like, how I'm gonna do that? You know, I got practice. Like, I'm gonna get good on the field if I gotta stop and got that, you know, find somewhere to live. You know what I'm saying? So it ended up where I just stayed in the hotel down there the whole year because I really didn't have time to like look for a place. I mean, you knew how our day was. We had 4 days and we get done 4-5 o'clock. And then if you stay and watch some extra film, I mean, you're not getting out of there till 7-8 o'clock.
By 7, yeah.
And man,
long
after
days,
that, I'm ready to go home. I don't want to go have to try to find somewhere to live. So then I had to rent a car.
You probably had a bag full of Gatorades that you got out of this.
That's it. Get some protein shakes out that refrigerator and some Gatorades and take it to the house in a little bag. Load the book bag up.
How long you was in Miami for? Because you went from Miami, you went to and then from there you went to Baltimore.
Yep. From there I went to Baltimore.
I'm gonna bring this up because I know you remember this because we always talk about, you know, we talk about adversity. It seemed like you was at Baltimore, man. You had a good time, like you know how that Baltimore
man. You know what? Man. When I got to Baltimore, I was shocked the way y'all was doing things over there, dog. When I came in there and seen, dog, when I came over there and it was like a dude would shoot a piece of paper to the garbage can and he'll make it. Another dude be like, well, I bet you 100 you can't do that again. I was like, whoa. He like, all right. And they start, man, everything over
dunk contest.
Man, it was crazy, man. Like,
the clothes hang around and they duct tape up to the locker, had dunk contest.
I'm talking about even when we was like getting ready to do the walkthroughs, like how long it took us to get through the walkthrough because they was trying to throw the football in the garbage can.
Yeah, for about 50 yards.
Man, I remember big L.I.T man riding that golf cart in the endo facility so fast and the whole thing just slipped over. And Rick, you know, I looked at Rich Ryan, you know, I was just like, oh, he finna run down there. He went over there and started laughing. I was like, wow, they really be chilling over here. I'd never been around nothing like that before in my whole football career, man.
Hey man, Baltimore is the funnest locker room, bro.
Oh,
man. The characters. Hey, but man, dude, you are. You one of the toughest cats I done played with for the people that's listening, man. Because during that time when you came in, you was roommates in 2 days.
Yep.
And man, I think there's something important in life about laughing, man. Because that was John Harbaugh's first year. He was taking us through he was giving us he was working us, bro. Everything that got me through practice. Huh? He said what?
He had Ed Reed them about to cry. Hey, you remember that beat? Ed Reed stood up. Ed Reed was just like, Coach, the guys, they tired, Coach. We need a break. Like Ed Reed was pleased with the boy.
Hey, and Reed was taking up for the younger cats.
Yeah, man.
That's what it was. Like, you know, for the older guys, they practice every 3 days and they got a day off. But for cats like me and Swole, man, we was getting all them extra reps in. So reading
yeah,
them fought
man.
for us. Yo, but man, during that time, man, you got me through a lot, bro, because as much as we had to deal with doing that day and trying to make that roster and being tired, bro, like they was working us.
Man.
Bro, we would get into that room, be laughing so hard about everything that happened throughout the day. But for the people that don't know, adversity and battling through pain, man, tell them about the injury you played with. Listen to this, the injury that he played with the whole training camp.
Man, I think we was at practice. We was at practice, and you know, they'll just say it's live. So you think that's what they'll say? This period right here, live. This period, live. It's all live.
And for the folks that don't know, live means anything goes.
Anything goes. You might get your ACL torn, anything. Like it was real. And I think we was doing inside run, and McGahee was there. And I remember hitting McGahee, man. McGahee is a solid running back. And he was fast. And when I hit him and I drove him to the ground, like his face mask pressed in my chest. And man, my chest was killing me. But man, we in training camp. Ain't no time for going to the sideline talking about I'm hurt. So I played through it at practice. And you know, after practice, I went and got it checked out, and they was like, oh yeah, it's just bruised muscle. And you know, they said they was gonna do an X-ray, and they did the X-ray and then came back. So I kept practicing through it, and it kept getting worse and worse. And then I went back to the training. They was like, well, let's get an MRI, and the MRI showed like a bunch of bruised muscles. So at this time, they took the knee pad. They took a knee pad like that go on your football pants and taped it under my shoulder pads to protect my chest. So, you know, I'm like, all right, that's what we gonna do. You know, let's keep it rolling. And man, I think I played on that thing for at least about almost 3 weeks. And we was getting ready to play the Patriots. Me and Edgar was in the room just cracking. I couldn't even laugh at this point, man, because my chest was so messed up, and I just kept saying, like, man, something wrong with my chest, bro. Like, I would laugh. I would be like, huh. I couldn't even laugh. So the head trainer came in the room that night, and he said, "Hey, McCune, you down?" I said, "Huh? What's up?" He was like, "You got a crack in there." I was like, "Man, I told y'all, I knew something was going on with my chest, man."
Crack sternum, bro.
And it was around the whole facility. Like Rex Ryan came up to me, he was like, "Man, you one tough son of a gun to beat." I was like, "Man, come on, man. I've been telling y'all my chest. I appreciate y'all looking at me like on Superman now, but I've been dying the last couple of weeks." And you got to think in training camp, man, 2 days of practice.
That's Hardball's first year too.
Practice.
Yeah, that's when we was 2 days full pad.
Full pads.
Bro, and that's Hardball first year.
Hardball had it to where Hardball was making up wear the practice pants and everything. Like, come on, bro, we don't do that till game time.
They'll arrest Hardball today, boy.
Man, I seen McGahee about 2-3 weeks ago out at a little food restaurant, and I went over to holler at him, and we was just chopping it up, and I was like, "Hey," I said, "You remember Hardball that first year?" That nigga pointed at me. He got so pumped up so quick. I said, "Hey, you remember Hardball that first year?" He was like, hey, tell him how Hardball was. He was like, "Hardball was hell on there." I was like, "Hey, man, that first year Hardball was hell on there, boy."
Hey, hell. But you know what, though, dude? When I sit back and I think about all that we dealt with, all that we grew up dealing with working hard and grinding and tough times, bro. Like, man, if we didn't experience that, bro, we would have made it through training camp. Because, bro, we had 2 people. I don't know if you remember, we had one cat that left training camp in the middle of the night.
Man, training camp was real, man.
Bro, he made his bed, bro. He wrote a letter on why football wasn't for him. That's how it really was.
I ain't gonna even lie. every team I was on, when we had training camp, I always question like,
why I'm doing this, bro.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this another day, boy. I'm talking about, man, how, especially when I was in Miami. Wow, about the color T good training camp in Miami, boy. I'm telling, boy, a girl sent me a picture of me. I was like, dang, man, yeah, but man, training camp, bro, like, oh man, training camp was real, boy.
It was real, bro. It was real.
Yeah, man.
So Baltimore, and then where you go after that?
I went to Cleveland.
Yeah, you went to Cleveland for a little bit.
And man, after being in Baltimore and going to Cleveland, boy.
It's like a filet mignon old piece of bologna, bro.
Man, it was so different over there, bro. I was just like, I ain't gonna even lie. I was like, man, I hope they cut me.
Hey, you know what, bro? When I went to Cleveland, when they cut me, I was so happy. Mike Pettit was my head coach in Cleveland. When he cut me, I shook his hand, and I was like, "Hey, Petiti, what time my flight get up out here?" It's the worst, bro. Hey,
real.
Man, but that shows you, man. You know, I think that's important in anything in life. That, man, culture is everything, bro. As far as environments, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, sometimes you're in a situation where the environment it is what it is. You got to deal with, man. But I think there's something to say when I think about Baltimore, how just when I look at life about how you try to build a culture where people can have fun, they can work, you know, and it can bring the best out of people. And then when you go into a culture of something like Cleveland back in the day, you watch some good players go to an organization like that and just tank. You never hear about them again. Yeah. You be like, dang, for real, him? Like, bro, I don't even know. So after that, after Cleveland, you were done after Cleveland, right?
Yep, after Cleveland, man, you know, they sucked the life out of me for real, and I really didn't even want to play football no more for real. I came back, you know, my first year at Baltimore. I think it was that first year at Baltimore, I had bought a house in Atlanta. And then that second year in Baltimore, when I cracked my chest and they sent me to the house, it was because when they cut me, when I cracked my chest, you know, Harbaugh liked me, man. And you know, Harbaugh had told me, he was like, hey, man, we got to let you go. But he was like, I really want you on this football team. And he said, don't take the settlement. He said, because if you take the settlement, we can't bring you back. So he was like, don't take the settlement. We gonna bring you back. And that was hard for me to do because I know how the business is. And you could just tell me that so y'all won't have to pay me my money. And then, you know, so I took his word, man, and I came back to Atlanta. And I think maybe about 3, 4 or 5 weeks went by, and Harbaugh called me back. And I came back and we went on that run to the ALC championship that year.
And we kicked.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we went on that run, man.
We went on that run, man.
I made some, because when I got my, and you know, a lot of people don't know, when I cracked my chest and I came back to Atlanta, I was staying in a house that was very expensive. And that was the house you came to. Yeah. I had to let that house go, man, because I had money, but I told myself, I said, if I stay in this house another 3, 4, because when I cracked my chest, homie, I thought my football career was over with for real.
Yeah.
It was just that bad where I was just like, I'm not gonna be able to play no more. I ain't gonna be able to take no more hits on this. So, you know, when I came back to Atlanta, man, I had to let that house go, and I went and lived in my at my homie crib. He had a 1-bedroom, and I slept on the floor. But the days that I was there, I was getting on the computer looking, because I told myself, I said, I don't want to find myself in that situation again. Let me just pay cash for something. You know what I'm saying? So
you always talk about that.
Yeah. So I ended up finding a little townhouse, man, that I paid cash for. I fixed it up. And right when I got it fixed, man, my cash was real low, and Harbaugh called me back, man. And I think we played like 4 regular season games. Then we went on that playoff run, and man, that like put me back cool. Then I was like, whoo, I needed that little change, boy.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yeah.
So when they didn't re-sign me back after that year, I wasn't really tripping because I was like, I got my places paid for. I got some cool little money put up, and I was just like, I'm gonna do my personal training thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I could do good in that area. And Cleveland called, and I went to Cleveland, stayed there a little while, and I was just like, So after Cleveland, I came back to Atlanta, just was chilling, personal training. I always still, kept myself in good shape. And one of my buddies from college, he didn't make it to the NFL, but he went to Canada and played football over there and was pretty good over there. And I don't know, back in the day, you remember the sidekick? You remember the little sidekick that we had? He IM me like, man, what you got going on? And I told him, I just be chilling. And he was like, the coaches over here, man, they be asking about you. I was like, for real? I'm still just a little army dude. Like, I don't consider myself no big star where people like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, you still want to play? And I was like, yeah. Well, I said, what kind of money y'all be making over there? And he told me what I should be making. So he was like, I'm gonna get them to call you. So they called me the next day, and we talked it out, and they threw some numbers at me. I was like, nah. And then they were like, well, we'll get back with you. And they called me back the next day, and I was going to Canada, Calgary. And, when I got off the phone, I was like, dang, man, I'm about to go to Canada. I was like, I've never been to Canada. So the first thing went through my head, I was just like, man, I've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Kuwait. I was like, it can't be no better than that. I said, it can't be no worse than that. So I went on over there, man. And it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. How long you was over in Canada for?
I was in Canada for 5 years. I played 2 years in Calgary with the Calgary Stampeders in Alberta. And I played 3 years. My third year in Toronto, I just let it go, man. I wouldn't
let it go.
You ended up winning the cup over there, though, huh?
Yeah, I won a great cup over in Toronto. What was that? Maybe like 2012, and it was cool over there. We got to travel all around Canada, man. Places I never, to see they coach over there, and it was pretty cool. And I enjoyed playing over there. I really did. It was a 360 degrees pace from what the NFL was, for real. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like the cameraman transition, you I know you kind of turned into a businessman because you was always big into flipping houses and stuff. You know what I'm saying? What was that like for you, man? Just figuring out, because now what you've been doing most of your life, well, majority of your life now has been taken away. You know what I'm saying? So what did that?
Yeah, man. After that last year, me playing in Canada, man, I wasn't right. My body wasn't right, my head wasn't right, and I honestly really didn't know. I really didn't know what to do, and I ran into one of my coach from Canada, and he used to come to my defensive coordinator in Canada. He used to come to Atlanta to have little workouts, and he would call me before he would come and be like, hey, man, I'm coming to Atlanta, work out some guys. He was like, come on out there and, time to peep in the 40 for me. So, I'd be like, all right, he was good to me in Canada. I would go out there and, I would time peep in the 40, and, man, he give me like $1,000. Like, damn, coach, like, well, I needed that, appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So he introduced me to a guy that he coached a while back, and he was getting ready to be the head coach at this high school. He asked me would I be interested in coaching the linebackers, and I said yeah, that'd give me something to do, because at that time I really didn't know what to do, because when I stopped playing ball and no one, because I had great years in Canada, so I was like, somebody gonna hit me up. But when nobody called, I think it was like shocking to me, and I was like, damn man, like it's really over. And honestly, I was trying to play another year, and I couldn't play another year for real. Like, man, I was so beat up, like my head wasn't right, I had my nerves was twitching, and I came back to Atlanta, man, and I got into the coaching with the high school. I was substitute teaching, but I couldn't. They was trying to get me to teach every day, but I couldn't do it just because of my physical and my mental was messed up for real. And coaching with that coaching staff, we got a chance to, when school was out in the summertime, we got a chance to go coach at different little camps that they introduced me to make some, to do something, also to make some little cash. So in going to them camps, man, I ran into some former players that and I asked them, like, what are they doing now, since they stopped playing. And some of them started telling me about your total and permanent disability, which it was just like this when I stopped playing ball. I had my the NFL was a tough business, but I liked what I do, and I tried to put myself in every situation that I can to keep my job. So, when we talked about like not really paying attention in those meetings, like I wasn't really paying attention because I felt like I was always one of them guys that was threading on a thin line with the NFL, just being not a starter, but a starter on special team. I just felt like the way I seen people come and go, I just felt like I can be that guy, at any point in time. So when I stopped playing, honestly, man, I really wasn't aware of any of the benefits that I had in the NFL. Because honestly, if I would have knew about my benefits, I wouldn't even went to Canada and played. I could have just pursued. I was so, it just was a lot of things that I wasn't aware of when I stopped playing, because it was over so quick. So, by me going to these football camps and players telling me about different things, a lot of stuff I called the NFL about and asked them about it. And, they said it was a statute limitation that I needed this certain amount of years. And so another guy told me about the total and permanent disability. So he gave me this lawyer number. So I reached out to that lawyer, and he checked to see how many credit season I had, and he was like, you are available to get it. And he said, I'm gonna send you a list of doctors to see, and I want you to go see all these doctors. So that's what I did. I used that same motto that I used from the Army to Louisville, to the NFL. Now I'm using it out here. Just be on time and do what you're asked to do. And that's what I did. And, we spoke a couple times after I sent him some of my medical stuff had came back. And, he said, man, you messed up pretty bad. He was like, I want you to go to this little home where there's a bunch of players at, where they just helping guys out with their mental and their physical ability. And so, I was open for it. And I went. And, that's where me and Edgar ended up running into each other again at the end of the same house. It's crazy, man. Like,
and we ain't talked for a while.
And we hadn't talked for a while.
I look at because they had all the players kind of stay in this little house, man. Yeah. Nice little crib though. And I looked up and Swole get ready to walk through the house, man.
Yeah. just like that, you know. And you know, I was going through a tough time then, man. I was just popping pills and you know, smoking weed and just hanging out because I was everywhere, man. My mind wasn't right and my body wasn't right. And I lost that structure that I had from, hey, go drop to the curb and see what's everything, you know. That's what we did, you know. So at that point in time, man, I was lost and I was looking for help. Like I really wanted to get some help because I know I wasn't right. I know it. Like I was having little nosebleeds and I had headaches and just my body was hurting, man. And I ain't realized like how much I put on my body, even just from the military, just all the walking and the running and carrying that equipment, jumping on and off those trucks, those fuel trucks, sleeping on the ground, sleeping in the truck. Like I ain't really realized it, and I really didn't know what benefits I had. So I was lost, man. I was lost that shit. I was lost the first 3-4 years, man. It took me a while to transition. Yeah. Scary. Yeah. It was scary. I was scared for real.
That transition is difficult, man, because you go from something you've been doing and you coping. I mean, you dealing with sports and you dealing with what come with sports, and you realize that is done with the way you went about dealing with the game was probably the appropriate response to get you through it. Yeah. Then you realize you got all these bad behaviors that you got to adjust and fix. Yeah. When you're done now. So it's like you got to really go back to the drawing board and get yourself together, man. So you know, going through that process, man, you really, you know, redefining yourself, man, find out who you were, spending time with yourself. Oh yeah. Like let's talk about now. You know what I'm saying? Like just where you at?
Well, you know, man, you know, back in them days when I was going through that situation, you know, just trying to find out different things, you know, I also put myself in a situation, you know, and it's, you know, I'm not gonna blame anyone. It's just something that I just wasn't educated on, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And you know, I had people above me because you know they looked at me, you know, as the main guy. If y'all look it up, you know, it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation to talk about, but I'm okay talking with it. I'm okay talking about it now because I'm not gonna let the situation have me holding my head down. And I did also, you know, want to use this platform. There was a lot of guys that were involved in the whole little thing that we had going on, and I wanted to apologize to all those players, man, that got involved with that situation. And I just wanted to apologize to them and let them know it was never my intent to put anyone in a situation. It was something I was doing where I thought I was helping players, and I really felt like I didn't want to hide behind no curtains or hide behind no wall and just let it just slide by me without apologizing to all those players that was involved. Like I said, it was never my intentions to put anybody in any type of situation in that whole process. And you know, right now, I do have to face time. I got 5 years prison, and it's my first time getting in any type of trouble in my life with the law. So it's been a different situation, but I just looked at, you know, y'all heard my story and y'all seen all the situations that I came across that I overcame, and I just feel like I'm just taking that same attitude into this situation because I know who I am as a person, and I know how loyal I am to my people that are my friend. And, you know, I'm just going to take this situation and I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to get smarter. And like I say, when you get into a bad situation, you learn there was a bad situation. And then from that moment, start making the steps to making it right. Like, don't waste any time. Like, and don't make the same mistake. Like, from that moment, you learn from that situation and you start taking steps. And this is one of my steps to making this situation right. You know, I want to tell my story. I want to tell who I am as a person. I'm you know, all the things that I've done in life. I'm still that same 18, 19-year-old guy, and you know that got up in the morning and worked with his dad, and still like watching Incredible Hulk. And and this is the way, Louisville, my school, University of Louisville. And man, you know, me and you was talking about this the other day, Edgar, just you know, just being, you know, responsive and communicating. And, you know, an example with me, you know, if Edgar called me or text me, I'm not gonna let the whole day go by without responding to him or call him. One, you know, because that's my friend, and two, you never know like what's gonna happen in life. And you know, I'm learning in life, you know, I treat my friends, you know, just like my business. Like, we get up and go to work every day, like no matter what. So what I meant by that is the same way I can get up every day and go to work without nobody telling me, I'm gonna do the same thing with my friends. If my friends call me or text me or anything, because you never know. You just never know. And I say that because University of Louisville, they emailed me, and they got a game coming up at the end of March, the 26th. So they was really just asking me for my shirt size. So I said, I was like, the 26th, I was like, man, my time coming up to turn myself in. And I was just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make that. Like, I was like, But I said, you know what? I said, let me just put my shirt size just in case I might want to go. And I put my shirt size in there. And right after that, our equipment guy, he emailed me. It's the same equipment guy that was there when I was there. And he was like, hey, Hammer, man, what's up? What's been going on? You know, because like I said, I don't really bother anybody. And, you know, I went up to Louisville. It's been a while since I've been up there because I've been just trying to transition and, you know, get my life together. And, man, they emailed me and, you know, they say they heard about my situation and if I needed anything, to just let them know. And like I said, I'm trying to make the steps already to making this situation better. So I called him and he was like, what's going on, Hammond? He's like, man, I heard about your situation. We on the phone talking. And, you know, I told him, I just said, yeah, man, you know, I just told him, yeah, I was just trying to help, man. I never meant any harm. And I said, I just really want to tell my story. And he said, you know what, Hammond? He said, hold on. And he went up and spoke to the staff and, they was like, they worked it out. He was like, man, the staff would love for you to come here and speak to the athletic department about your situation. Just tell your story. And I said, for real? He was like, yeah. He was like, man, they got me a flight. You know, they put me in the hotel. I leave tomorrow. And man, it was just so cool. And they sent me 2 boxes of Louisville gear. Like, man, it was the coolest thing ever because, you know, I've been held in my head up in this situation. But, you know, just to have that love and, you know, they just like, man, if you need anything, we got you. Like, they looking forward to me to coming up there. You know, they say they got a lot of stuff and I'm interested, man, because Deion Branch is there. Deion Branch played for the Patriots. Yeah. And was the Super Bowl MVP. So Deion is there as the like the development for players. So it's all new to him. So, you know, me and him talked on the phone and he was like, you know, I was just telling him like, man, thank you so much for letting me do that. He was like, nah, man, like, thank you, because he was like, you my first project. So, you know, it's something big for him too. So that's why I say, man, I just been making the steps to make this whole thing better. I've been trying to get with some people from a production company about doing a documentary on, you know, just me coming up and, you know, all the different things that I've been through. I was supposed to speak with them next week after I come back from Louisville. So I just been trying to, like I said, you know, I'm not only just gonna talk, like I put myself in a bad situation. So I learned from that bad situation quick. And now I'm just making the steps to make it better. That's all I'm doing, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. I tell you this, bro. You know, me and you talked a couple weeks ago when I was driving down Louisiana. When I was driving, you had that conversation. I could tell where your head was at as far as, you know, just trying to make things right. And honestly, Swole, man, that's always been you. You know, if you made a mistake, just trying to make things right and actually putting things into action to make it right. You've always been a guy of integrity, and character, man, and a man who's had standards and how you live your life. And two, what I've always valued about you is just having perspective on situations.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was the cards that got dealt to you in Baltimore, we talked about Miami, or what you dealt with in Washington, or through the Army, and heck, even what you got in the cracked sternum. You know, like just find a way to laugh in the middle of all the pain you was going through.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
and that's, you know, and even now, you know, I appreciate you for just sharing, you know, just briefly about it, but there's even perspective you got now, you know what I'm saying? And being able to continue to be a person that's willing to be open and share your story. And honestly, you know, to be at a place, man, where you can humbly come to a table and say, hey, man, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Say, you know, I made a mistake for what I've done, dude. So, man, I appreciate you, bro. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna this episode always drops on Spotify. We'll share it to people, man, so they can know more about your story and who you are.
Yeah.
But we just appreciate everything, man, how we can continue to support you and help you and share your story. But we just thank you for everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to kind of leave it with anything you want to say before we get ready to get off, or what?
Let me give him his flowers first, because because I don't know you, right? But Edgar, my family, we've been in each other's lives since I was born, right? He's a little older than me. So whoever he stamped is stamped. And he been talking about you well before now. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than a podcast, anything. So I know what kind of cats Edgar gonna attach himself to. We like to call each other likens. And a lichen is basically a werewolf, except he don't really need the moonlight to come out to change it to no werewolf. He turn it on and off on his own, right?
Yeah.
One thing I can see and I can tell is that you're a warrior, bro. And I say that because a warrior never sees himself as a victim, right? And in this situation here, your victim role got murdered a long time ago. And that's a good thing, because if the victim is growing in you, then the conqueror can't grow in you, right? So whenever you reach in a situation where you see adversity, you're able to flip that switch in your mind. Instead of seeing a problem, you see privilege, right? Instead of there's always a story in the middle of a storm. For Christians, there's always Christ in the middle of crisis, right? You always got these a testimony in the middle of a test, right? And that's what you're doing now. You're using it. I'm a glass half full type of guy. So I can tell you that a lot of people don't have the resources to tell their story. They don't have a Louisville to reach out to them. They don't have a partner with a podcast, right? They might not have take care of their money as well as you have. It's all kind of stuff, man. You sitting, they like Edgar say, they ain't shredded like lettuce. They ain't sitting here with looking at it
like cold
through the frame with,
like
with the Gucci tees. You got a lot going in spite of, right? So I just want to commend you for that. And I want to remind you, just think back over your life, man, as you telling your story and as you going through your the stuff you're about to have to go through. Remind yourself that every time that adversity was there, Robert came out bigger and better every time. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to do with the guns that you sitting there with. That's more of a heart and mind thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So just keep being that warrior, man, and use it. And I know you'll come out on it, and you'll probably be more successful in whatever you decide to do with it. Outside this, because this your biggest battle yet. But it's been a build up all your whole life. It's been a build up. You begin prep for it. You know what I'm saying? Now you're here in front of it. So just knock it out the park, man. Be that warrior that you are. And kudos to you. Whatever you need me for, if you need something put in the words, you can ask Edgar. Yeah, I don't, you know. Text it to him. I have it back to you in 20 minutes. And you know what I'm saying?
Man, my bigger thing now, man, you know, like I said, you know, my dad instilled in me, man, always, you know, long as I got leg, arm, eyes and ear, you know, I'll make a way for myself. But, you know, the biggest thing, man, I just ask from my friends is, you know, just check in on me, you know, hey, how you doing, man? How you holding up? Like, that's like $1 million to me, man, because one thing over here is I understand everybody has a life. I understand people have jobs, people have the stress of finances, you know, people have kids, got to make sure the kids straight. But if you can do all that and still take the little time out to think about your friend, to say, hey, how you doing? Like, man, that's amazing, yo. That's real right there, man. So, you know, I'm very thankful just for the people who have thought of me to ask how I'm doing, to see how I'm doing, you know, because, you know, I take care of myself, but that right there, y'all giving me $1 million for doing that right there. And I really appreciate that. Like, I really do appreciate that. For real, when people in a time like I'm going through now, man, it just, that shows me a lot. And I done learned a lot, you know, also in this situation, that people that just done kind of faded. But I know how that go, and I keep moving. Can't break my stride, can't slow me down. Oh no, I got to keep on moving, for real. Hey, that's my motto now, boy. Hey, you remember, hey, homie, on some real, that's a perfect example what I be talking about. Like, you hear that song right there, and you just like, that's a cool song. But when you actually start living life, and you like, damn, man, these niggas trying to break, damn, that's why they came out with that song. Yeah. For real.
Hey, I thought you were about to start rapping, boy. Because I know you.
Can't break my stride now, man. I ain't gonna let nobody break my stride now.
Swole be rapping all the time in the huddle and
hands from the band. Yeah, that's my freestyle now. Hands from the band.
Hey, so appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. A lot of respect for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Just who you are, bro, and just the man that you are.
Yeah,
so,
man.
We appreciate you coming on. We're going to make sure we share this, and there's love over here, bro. Love you, man. Always good to chat with you and catch up on some memories, bro, and just appreciate you, man. Just thank you, dude. It's got to go without, it's hard to even put into words, man.
Yeah, I thank y'all for letting me use y'all platform, man. This the start of something, man. Like, I just believe it in my heart. Like, this the start of something, man. Like, so let's keep going, man. And I appreciate y'all, and y'all be safe, man. I'll catch up with you, Edgar. Nice to meet you too.
All right, nice to meet you, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, man.
All right.